One night a year, the spiritual and physical realms converge. And according to the Wiccan calendar, this is a sacred day of magic and revelry. And it goes far beyond trick-or-treating and costumes. Its pagan traditions truly come from the pits of hell, and it is directly connected to an ancient evil we all should take very seriously.
What are your plans for Halloween?
I believe I'll be speaking to the dead tonight.
Halloween night on the 31st of October through November 1st is known to Wiccans as Samhain, and it's an ancient Celtic pagan festival going back thousands of years. The ancient British people believed this festival to be at the threshold between worlds, when the realm of the dead became accessible to them. Dead souls and other worldly beings wandered about, so they disguised themselves to blend in and even scare the spirits away. Today, ancestor worship has spread globally. In Latin America, Halloween is known as Noche de Brujas, or Night of the Witches. In Mexico, it's known as the Day of the Death, and people leave gifts on the graves to honor dead loved ones at gatherings in graveyards. These festivals of roaming ghosts came from an ancient Celtic brotherhood of learned magicians. We know them today as the Druids. These mysterious priests of the unknown are without question the quintessential kings of the occult. Today's witchcraft, Satanism, and paganism all acquire instructions from the Druidic methods. These were high-ranking religious leaders of their time, and it was strictly forbidden to leave any written records, like many secret societies of today. But they functioned as doctors, legal authorities, and myth keepers, passing down orally their esoteric magic and history. They still remain mysterious to us, but contact with the Romans and Greeks yielded much information about their culture and dark rituals. Early Roman contact dates all the way back to 400 years before Christ. But the Romans were shocked and disgusted at the terrifying nature of their practices. Among one of the most potent was that of divination, which is speaking to the dead, or the practice of seeking knowledge of the future or the unknown by supernatural means. This power held special significance on Halloween night, or Samhain, when the boundary between dimensions was at its thinnest, and conjuring the dead was optimal. But the deceased were not the only object of their reverence. Believe it or not, they are said to have worshipped a Canaanite God that you may recognize. Take a look at this excerpt from the American Book of Days by George William Douglas. Quote, "The mystic rites and ceremonies with which Halloween was originally observed had their origin among the Druids, ancient Baal festivals, from which many of the Halloween customs are derived." Unquote. And in the book Ancient Legends, Mystic Charms, and Superstitions of Ireland, Lady Francesca Speranza Wilde corroborates this same Canaanite connection. Quote, "Then the Druids lit the Baal tin, the holy, goodly fire of Baal." If you can see the pattern that's emerging here, then it shouldn't surprise anyone that these Druidic rites also involved human sacrifice. Quote, "The gods whom the Druids worshipped was Baal, as the blazing Baal fires show, and children were offered in sacrifice." Unquote. Alexander Hislop, in his book The Two Babylons, page 232. There's also the fact that multiple historical accounts claim that these ancient priests were literally bloodthirsty, ingesting the flesh of their victims. But let's consider the festival today. These rituals couldn't have possibly survived to today's innocent celebration of candy gathering and dress up, could it? Take a look at last year's most popular costumes. Some of these change from year to year, but we almost always have a witch and the devil. Also some type of zombies or dead characters. It seems the druidic seeds of Satanism, paganism, and speaking to the dead are still intact in today's festival. And too many people are unaware of the danger the magic poses. But what exactly is magic? It's defined as the application of beliefs, rituals, or actions employed to manipulate natural or supernatural beings and forces. And in neo-paganism and the occult, many magicians and witches regularly practice ritual magic, defining it as a technique for bringing about change in the physical world through the force of one's will. The early 19th century saw an explosion in satanic activity when the infamous occultist and black magician Aleister Crowley said of the nature of reality, "Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law." Now, people have often misinterpreted this to mean that you can do what you want when you want, but that's not what he's talking about. He was speaking on the power of the human will to manifest change and even create a reality that you can will into existence. But of course, these rituals employed to achieve these results always notoriously degenerate into all kinds of hellish evil and wicked deeds. For example, sacrificing loved ones or selling your soul come to mind. Imposing your will onto the world is the antithesis of submitting to a higher moral deity that asks for your trust in his will. To me, there's a blinding arrogance in saying, I know what's best, I know what I want, and I'm going to take it and form the world in that image. It's just insanely evil. But this is the essence of magic in the New Age manifestation movement and all the Wiccan traditional magic. And I think Halloween is just another way that they sort of ease children into these ideas at an early age. And even if you don't necessarily believe in the spiritual aspects behind this holiday, there's no denying the fact that there's an uptick in crime every Halloween. People report feeling a different type of energy in the air. And of course, this time of year, after the autumn equinox, the earth is tilting. The amount of daylight is shrinking and darkness is growing. This in itself has a very powerful psychological effect. There's a fascinating passage in Luke where Christ describes the waxing power of evil. Every day I was with you in the temple courts, and you did not lay a hand on me. But this is your hour, when darkness reigns. I think it's really foolish to turn your back and ignore the subtlety of the things unfolding in our world. I would implore you to take your enemy seriously, think about these things, stay awake, and be vigilant. And if you're still with me, please hit the like button, subscribe. There's much more to come, and I will see you guys soon.